Good Friday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it to the end of another week. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Friday. We have the truth of the day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's entertainment spotlight, you're being part of my conversation with Attorney Kamesha Mumford of Mumford & Mumford Law Firm. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Friday headlines. In national news, U.S. expels Russian diplomats, imposes sanctions for hacking. The Biden administration on Thursday announced the U.S. is expelling 10 Russian diplomats and imposing sanctions against dozens of companies and people, holding the Kremlin accountable for interference in last year's presidential election and the cyber hacking of federal agencies. The sweeping measures are meant to punish Russia for actions that U.S. officials say cut to the core of American democracy and to deter future acts by imposing economic cost on Moscow, including by targeting its ability to borrow money. The sanctions are certain to exacerbate tensions with Russia, which promise a retaliatory response. Sanctions against 6 Russian companies that support the country's cyber efforts represent the first retaliatory measures against the Kremlin for the hack known as the SolarWinds breach, with the U.S. explicitly linking the intrusion to the SVR, a Russian intelligence agency. Though such intelligence-gathering missions are not uncommon, officials said they were determined to act because of the operation's broad scope and the high cost of the intrusion on private companies. The U.S. also announced sanctions on 32 individuals and entities accused of attempting to interfere in last year's presidential election, including by spreading disinformation. U.S. intelligence officials alleged in a declassified report last month that Russian President Vladimir Putin authorized influence operations to help Donald Trump in his unsuccessful bid for re-election as president, though there's no evidence Russia or anyone else changed votes or manipulated the outcome. In more national news, defense rests without Chauvin testimony at murder trial. Former officer Derek Chauvin chose not to take the stand as testimony at his murder trial ended on Thursday, passing up the chance to explain to the jury and the public for the first time what he was thinking when he pressed his knee against George Floyd's neck. Closing arguments are set to begin on Monday, after which a racially diverse jury will begin deliberating at a barbed wire ring courthouse in a city on edge, not just because of the Chauvin case, but because of the deadly shooting of a 20-year-old man in Minneapolis last weekend. Before the jury was brought in Thursday morning, Chauvin, his COVID-19 mask removed in a rare courtroom moment, ended weeks of speculation by informing the judge he would invoke his Fifth Amendment right not to testify. Shortly afterwards, the defense rested its case after a total of 2 days of testimony compared with 2 weeks for the prosecution. The judge reminded the jurors they will be sequestered starting Monday and said, "If I were you, I would plan for long and hope for short." Chauvin, 45, is charged with murder and manslaughter in Floyd's death after the 46-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of passing a counterfeit $20 bill at a neighborhood market last May. The most serious charge against the now-fired officer, second-degree murder, carries up to 40 years in prison, though state guidelines call for about 12. In more national news, U.S. opens more distance in worldwide race against coronavirus. The United States opened more distance between itself and much of the rest of the world on Thursday, nearing the 200 millionth vaccine administered in a month's race to protect the population against COVID-19, even as other countries, rich and poor, struggle with stubbornly high infection rates and deaths. Nearly half of American adults have gotten at least one dose of the vaccine, and about 30% of adults in the U.S. have been fully vaccinated, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But the picture is less relentlessly grim in parts of Europe, Latin America, Africa, and Asia, as variants of the virus feel an increase in new cases and the worldwide death toll closes in on 3 million. In business news, with layoffs down and spending up, U.S. rebound gains momentum. A much-awaited economic boom coming off the pandemic recession appeared to be an edge closer to reality on Thursday, with fresh data showing the pace of layoffs dwindling, consumers spending freely, and manufacturing rebounding. The latest barometers point to a U.S. economy that's steadily regaining its health as vaccinations accelerate, business curbs are lifted in many states, and more people are willing to travel, shop, eat out, and otherwise resume their spending habits. And finally, in entertainment news, J-Rod or done? Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez have split. J-Lo and A-Rod are no longer J-Rod officially. Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez told the Today Show Thursday in a joint statement that they are calling off their 2-year engagement. We have realized we are better as friends and look forward to remaining so. We will continue to work together and support each other on our share of businesses and projects, it said. We wish the best for each other and one another's children. Out of respect for them, the only other comment we have to say is thank you to everyone who has sent kind words and support. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, it's all yours.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Shake yourself loose from the grip of the ego. The ego's grip is an illusion. It controls your choices. The ego attempts to keep God and your true success away from you. Your ego wants your life journey to pretend to go along peacefully. It allows your motives, judgments, and expectations to guide your intentions. You are perfectly happy with your ego just as long as everything goes your way. Real life just doesn't happen this way. At times, you may find yourself in this happy-go-lucky place when life throws a curveball. This is God's way of keeping you in balance and keeping your ego out of balance. These hard knocks are learning lessons. They are in your life to teach you to choose differently. Stay humbled, letting go of your ego mind. You are a very small part of the world God created, and you exist to aid in the healing of our world. Today, understand joy exists within you, whether things go your way or not, and enjoy the day.
We are part of my conversation coming up with Attorney Kamesha Mumford in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Attorney Kamesha Mumford joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her passion for service and what it's been like for her to inform her clients. Here's a bit of our conversation. I want to begin, though, with this experience for you. What has it been like for you as an attorney to be able to provide a service that's able to help to meet people where they are and what they need?
Oh, it's just such a great feeling for me. I know that I'm an attorney and that's my profession and how I make a living, but it's just so much more than that, to be able to help people when they are sometimes in their most desperate time of need. They need some direction, oftentimes some encouragement, and just someone there to listen so that their needs can be met. And so it's just such a fulfilling and rewarding position. I often tell the story that I decided that I was going to be an attorney when I was probably 5 years old.
Wow.
And it was really because I just wanted to be able to help people.
When we say attorney, and I introduce you that way, and rightly so, I think that is such a broad title. But there are different specialties that attorneys specialize in. For you, it's real estate law. So I guess an obvious question would be, how did you decide what type of attorney you wanted to be?
Oh, that's such a great question. When I took my first property law class, first year law school, I always enjoyed the puzzle of title, of figuring out how this person came into ownership of this particular piece of property. And so I had always had an interest in real estate and real estate law. My grandfather has been a real estate investor for my entire life, and I think that probably is where my first interest just in real estate in general came from, just watching him manage his properties and over the years. And then once I got into law school and then being able to have some understanding of title and that sort of thing, it's kind of what led me to that area of practice.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be back with you guys on Monday with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.